Good morning, Rebels, and welcome back to my life. Okay, huge news today in the science of astrology. Astrology? Okay, wow, brain fart. I meant astronomy. Astrology is something completely different. Notably, not a science. Today it was announced that astronomers, here on Earth, have discovered the first Earth-sized planet orbiting a star in the habitable zone, which is the distance that a planet can be from a star in order for liquid water to exist on that planet. Liquid water, as you know, being a fundamental requirement of carbon-based life. Well, carbon-based life that we know of. I always hate being definitive on these things because then some new discovery always comes out and completely invalidates everything that we know about the universe. Anyway, this planet, impressively named Kepler-186f, is about 10% bigger than Earth, but its mass is unknown. Depending on what the planet is composed of, it could actually be less massive than Earth, which would of course mean that it had a lower gravity. Or it could be more massive and have a higher gravity. We really don't know at this point, but obviously, a lot of people are going to be investigating this, because this is exciting. Now, while water could exist on Kepler-186f in liquid form, it's unknown if there is any actual water there. However, scientists are hopeful because a lot of heavenly bodies have water, whether it's liquid or ice or steam. If Kepler-186f doesn't have any water on it in any form, it would be the cosmic exception rather than the rule. Also unknown is its atmosphere, which of course would be slightly important in determining whether we could actually live there. Our atmosphere is mostly nitrogen with about 21% oxygen, and while it's kind of a long shot to expect Kepler-186f to have a similar makeup, you never know. The atmosphere of the planet will also strongly affect the temperature on the planet, which is another very important factor, at least for us. If the atmosphere contains a lot of greenhouse gases, for example, the planet could be much hotter than Earth. Or the opposite could be true. We just don't know yet. Fun fact, the star that Kepler-186f orbits is actually about half the size of our sun, meaning that the planet is much closer to the star than we are to the sun in order to be in the habitable zone. Because when a star is smaller, there's less sunlight and radiation, so the habitable zone is closer. When the star is bigger, the opposite is true and the habitable zone is further out. This can also affect the length of the planet's year, although it doesn't necessarily have to. But in the case of Kepler-186f, it does. The year there lasts about 130 Earth days, which is of course about half the length of our year. The biggest deterrent, however, is the fact that Kepler-186f lies about 500 light years away. Alright, frame of reference time. The closest star to us, period, is about 4 light years away. The Voyager 1 spacecraft has been flying away from Earth for about 37 years and has yet to travel 5,000ths of that distance, and Kepler-186f is more than 100 times farther away than that. So the star is impossibly far away, and we really don't know very much about the planet yet other than that it could be habitable. But we should still see this as very hopeful and a major step forward in the science of astronomy. Not astrology. Because listen guys, I can't stress this enough. This is the first planet that we've found that we're like, yes, all other factors working out for us, we could live there. If we found out tomorrow that the Earth was going to be annihilated in 15 years, we could build a gigantic colony ship that could sustain humanity for a really long time and launch it at Kepler-186f in the hope that we might actually get there and maybe be able to eke out an existence on its surface. Maybe. I mean, that's very qualified statement, but you get what I mean. Can't do that with Jupiter, I'll tell you that much. Jupiter. Most of all, though, I see Kepler-186f and other similar planets I'm sure we'll discover in the future as long-term goals for humanity as a whole. Whether we find out that Kepler-186f is indeed habitable or we have to find another planet later on, that is, there is hope for us out there in the universe to exist as more than this tiny fraction of a dot in the cosmos. As far as how we're gonna get there, remember, anything impossible is actually just temporarily unsolved. Thanks very much for watching, Rebels. I hope you're as excited about this as I am, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.